Hi guys, today we're going to be doing something that I've been excited to make ever since we first started talking about classes, and that is our elegant solution to dynamically allocated character arrays that will expand and contract as necessary. So let's get going on that. I'm going to call this the text class, and I'm just going to have a list of kind of functionality that I'm going to want. I'm going to want to be able to do something like this. Okay, should be able to do that. I want to be able to do stuff like this where it doesn't have any initial value, and then later I can assign a value to it. I want to be able to go like this and append, or concatenate is the proper term, these texts together so we can have Mario and Luigi be in team. I also want to, of course, see out these. I want to be able to compare them. Well, I also want to be able to get input, so I want to be able to go like this. I'm not going to try to do it with the cin, and then with the stream extraction operator, I'm just going to go input.get input, and then put cin in as the argument there, and then it'll get the input. And then I want to be able to go like this. If input equals Duncan or something, then this should say welcome back administrator, whatever. I don't, just something that can kind of, so we can do conditionals with this class is basically my point here. I think that's all the functionality I was looking for. I'm also gonna wanna, well, okay. I think that's it for now, and we'll just get going on the actual code. I'm going to include IOStream, but in addition to that, I'm also going to be including another library, which is the CString library. It could also be written as string.h, but I prefer to say CString. And I'll tell you what we're going to be using from that library as we use it. So be prepared for that. If you wanted, you can actually do most of this already. You should already know how to do most of that, so feel free to stop the video and give it a try yourself, and then if you struggle with it, come back and watch the video, see how I do it. If you succeed and then watch the video and see that you're doing it a different way, feel free to share your solution with me. I'd be interested to see how you'd like to do it. Or just sit back, watch the video. That's fine too. What private members are we going to have? I'm going to have a length, which is going to represent the number of characters plus the null character, keep that in mind. And I'm also going to have a character pointer called str, and that's going to be the pointer to the dynamically allocated array of characters. So that's the only members that we're going to have. Now we're going to have a whole bunch of methods. We're going to have a default constructor with no arguments. We're going to have a constructor that takes a constant character pointer. That's going to be for stuff like this. I'm also going to make a constructor that can, this is called a copy constructor when you have something like this where the argument for the constructor is an instance of the class itself. So that'll be used when we want to, that'll be used when we try to go like name2 equals name. Okay, something like that. That's what this would be used for. Okay, now for operators, I'm gonna have text reference be the return value of our equals operator, and the reason that I'm doing that, and it'll take in a constant text reference. This will be very similar to the copy constructor, but the return value, well, I guess I'll tell you about that when we get there. And then we'll have a text not reference be the plus operator, and that'll be for when we want to concatenate strings together. So we'll do the same kind of thing. Now we will mark this as constant because like we did with the time class, this plus operator should not actually modify this object. It should just produce a new text object that will then assign to something or see out, or I don't know, whatever we might be doing with it. And then, let's see, we'll have a Boolean be the return value of the equals equals operator, so stuff like if input equals equals Duncan. And once again, I'll do a text reference t. Keep in mind, you might be wondering why I'm doing that when we are comparing this to essentially a constant character pointer, and that's because, once again, we have this constructor here, which allows us to typecast from constant character pointers into text objects. So this will get automatically converted into a temporary text object, which will then get fed into this this operator method. So we don't have to worry about writing more than one method, at least for that particular thing. Oh, I forgot about the destructor. We will need the destructor this time because it's going to free our array for us since we'll be dynamically allocating it. So that'll conveniently just do that whenever the object goes out of scope. Okay, we also want to do that get input function. I'll have an iStream reference in, and then we'll also need that friend function, return an OStream reference, and then the const t. Okay, so we'll implement all of those. Okay, I think that's all the methods that we're going to be writing out. Let's get going. Okay, so the default constructor, when we don't pass in any argument, so just something like this, I'm going to set length equal to 0 and set str equal to null. So str is not going to be holding any characters at that point. So if we pass in constant character pointer c, then we're going to want to initialize our array to be holding the characters in that character pointer. So what we're going to do is length is going to equal strlen c plus 1. Now strlen is a function defined in the C string library, and it'll tell us how many characters are in this character pointer. So why are we adding 1? That's going to be for the null character, because our dynamically allocated array will still need a null character at the end, plus enough characters to hold, or enough space to hold all the characters in this character pointer. So then we'll set str equal to a new character array of length, obviously, and then we'll use str copy. Notice there's no O here, it's just strcpy, but I'll still be saying str copy, or string copy, whatever you like. The first argument is the destination, so that'll be str, and the second argument is the source. What this does is it copies the characters one by one from the second argument into the first argument. So that's what we'll be doing there. And then we'll also want to set str length -1, which will be the last character. We'll want to set that equal to the null character, which is I'm actually not sure. Is this a forward slash or a backslash? I'm not sure actually, but what I think I've been calling it a backslash, so I guess I'll \0 or maybe forward slash. I don't know. I never can remember. But there we go. That should set that up correctly. Let's put in the copy constructor. So this is going to be pretty similar, or pretty similar to the last one. We just won't have to calculate length. We'll just copy it over from the argument. But this will all be the same. Okay, that should do it for that. It will copy over. You might be wondering why we do have to write this out, because every class has a built-in copy constructor, but all that does is a member-by-member copy, basically lines just like this, except it'll set str equal to t.str, and we don't want to do that because we actually want to make a new allocation, because If we just use the default copy constructor, then they would end up pointing to uh, the same dynamically allocated array, which we're not going to want. So that's why we're doing that. Okay, I think that's it for the for the constructors. Let's do the destructor. This should be pretty simple. Pretty much unless str is null, meaning so if str does not equal null, then we'll delete or free that array that we allocated. Keep in mind that we are using the brackets here because it is an array.